Hey guys. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to talk about why less is sometimes more, or bigger is not always better when it comes to timber detailing in Queenslander houses. Now, before I launch into my big spiel, I want to make it super clear that I'm not trying to be judgy McJudge-a-lot here. I made this exact mistake on my own property a few years ago, and I'm super grateful that a heritage specialist made like just a little throwaway comment that totally changed my perspective on things before I started work. So, to help me explain my point today, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. A couple of weeks ago, I was going through a property at Petrie Terrace. Now, I was walking through this house with the owner, and she was talking through everything she wanted to do to this property. We got to about halfway through the house, and we were standing in the lounge room, and she turns to me and goes, "Oh, and that basic sort of detailing around the windows, I'm going to rip that off and I'm going to replace it with what it used to be, like this big grand sort of timber detailing." I could feel the building designer behind me spin to face me and the grin on her face grow because she knew exactly what I was about to say. What I went on to say was, hey, at the end of the day, it's your house. You can do whatever you like internally. Go as big and as grand as you like. However, before you do that, I just want to give you some insight into two little things. First and foremost, not all Queenslanders are these majestic, grand houses. Depending on the location and the time period, they were more often than not actually little humble workers' cottages, affordable housing options. So as a result, they didn't have a lot of money pumped into them. And as a result, the timber detailing wasn't always grand and over the top. The other thing you need to keep in mind is often people pumped more money into the front rooms, the rooms where you greeted your guests, like the lounge rooms, the sitting rooms, that sort of stuff. As you progressed further through the house, to like the kitchen or the secondary bedrooms, they tended to cut back in those locations. I mean, why pump money into spaces that people are not going to see within your house? As a result, naturally, the further you get back in the house, the more simple the timber detailing gets. So, if you're standing in the house and you see this really basic, simple architrave or window detailing, all of that sort of stuff, do not automatically assume that someone's butchered it in the past and modified it, and that you therefore need to restore it back to this sort of grand timber detailing. It may have actually, more likely than not, have been built that way in the very beginning. It's actually one of the only situations where you will ever hear me say that it doesn't need to be matchy throughout the house. So I'm always saying, hey, back in the day, they took the time to really focus on building things right. They made sure everything matched in terms of materials, proportions, all of that sort of stuff, except when it comes to this sort of timber detailing. Okay, that covers off everything I wanted to talk about today. As I always say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got three. Number one, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site-specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number two, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number three, what was my number three? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all.